Now, as we have seen the various kind of scope of the international marketing, now we'll go to the differences between the domestic and international marketing. So what are the differences? So we'll take up some domestic and then we'll compare with the international marketing. So in domestic marketing, like first point can be a research data is available in the single language and usually it is easily accessed. At least for one state, you'll have in the same language, maybe different state, you'll have different languages, but you can have in the English as a totality, so that it will be in the same language, say English language, or your basic language of that country or where you belong. Then here the research data in international is generally in a foreign language and may be extremely difficult to obtain and interpret. Maybe here in India you can go to certain websites and scroll this data and try to get it, or you can there are paid services are available and you can get those data available which is going out of India or coming out from the different countries to India. But here it's very difficult because the access is different and it is difficult to interpret because language may be totally different in the international. Now in domestic again, the business is transacted in single currency, but many currencies may be involved in international marketing and it is a wide range of exchange fluctuations can be there with respect to your own home country. Now domestic head office employees will be normally possessing the detailed knowledge of the home market, right? Because they will get a handoff or they can visit immediately and get to know what is happening in those areas. But in an international, head office employees might only process an outline of the knowledge of the characteristics of the foreign entity, because they cannot, unless they don't sit there, they will just have some hang of information and characteristics of the foreign markets. Now domestic, again, the promotional messages need to be considered in just a single national culture. Means single national culture they will follow. That we are Indian, so that kind of language can be used. But into different countries, you will have a different cultural differences, and it has to be taken into account because maybe there are different languages spoken, in one country. But they are also foreign languages. So maybe the promotional material has to be made it accordingly, and what way they read, what way they interpret, and this all things has to be considered. The domestic market segmentation occurs within the single country. So you can have the segmentation in the one country only, means your own single country, but the market segments might be the defining the across the same type of consumer, but maybe in the different countries. Because you may be exporting the product from that country where you are already going to have an international market, and then it is going to another country. So it is little rather more complex because the different countries will have different setups and different, the totally market will be different and different segmentation. So domestic, again, and the communication and control are immediate and direct. So one can pick up the phone, just straight away talk to a fellow colleague in another state or in the states nearby city. But there you will have to take into account various time zones and access to the different countries will be different. And when they are available or they are on the field or so, we'll have to take appointments properly and then only talk in the international trade or international marketing. Then domestic, as we said, the communication was very controlled and easy, and international communication and control may be difficult due to time zone and so many difficulties. Now, in domestic, the business laws and the regulations are clearly understood. Because we have been born and brought up over there, so we know day to day what the things are happening and which rules are getting changed or which rules have to be taken very seriously also. Now, into the international marketing, the foreign laws and regulations might not be very clear, or it may be changing overnight. To come to us to know and to remember those things may be very difficult for international marketing by sitting in India. Unless we have some operations over there, it is very easy to understand in the international market. Now, business in the local market or domestic market is conducted in the single language, and into the international marketing, it will be in the different languages. So multilingual communication is required into the international marketing. And in the domestic or local market, the planning and organizational control can be simple and direct because you are in your own country and you know the segmentation and the language is same and it is very direct. The complexity into the international trade often necessitates the adoption of the complex and the sophisticated planning. organization and control system. So you have to adopt a complex thing, and you need to take several components that we'll see in the next sessions, coming sessions, that how much we have to take into account internal, external factors, and so on and so forth. Now, local or domestic market functional specialist with a marketing department is possible. Okay, in the functional specializations into sales, marketing, and you can have different people and with the different specialists into your department, marketing department is possible. But in the international marketing, the manager requires a wide range of marketing skills, because you are dealing in a different country altogether, and you have to see the different market segments, and different countries also may be exporting from that country. So you will require more skills of marketing and international market distribution, and the credit control as straightforward because you are not having many transport, different modes. So it is not a mainly most of the time multimodal, but in the international marketing, it may be a multimodal thing, and distribution may be left to the intermediary. So he will decide what way it has to be shipped by air or sea or multimodal. He will decide. Then in the domestic marketing, the competitive behavior is easy to understand and measure and predictable. That maybe sometime you're leaving it to get some orders, and then you can make some bigger orders. So you can make your strategy, and it is easily predictable. And here in the international marketing, the competition behavior may be unpredictable and possibly difficult to observe, because there are 200 countries coming into picture, and they are ready to offer the material, and there is a lot of competition available, and it is very difficult to every time combat with the different suppliers and manufacturers into the international trade or marketing. Now again, a domestic marketing, we can have the new product development is geared up to the needs of the home market. So the trends, and easily you can understand which kind of product differentiation you have to give, or a product little modification is required to the taste of local consumer, right? So in a different segment also you can make some different little differentiation, and you can give this one. Now in the international marketing, the new products is suitable with the appropriate modifications only possible for the consumers in the many countries. So you cannot say that this product is ready for world market. It may be a world class product, but you will have to make modifications and different modifications for different countries. So it is really a complex thing. So it is not so easy. So you will have to form a department specially for international marketing to cater the needs of different markets you are in, and with the different arrangements you are working on. So this is very important to understand that domestic is very simple, direct, same language, and you can decide your own market segments and everything, and it is mainly predictive. And on the contrary, the international marketing is a complex and multilingual, and you will have to really take care of the different markets and the different countries nearby where you are marketing the products, and distribution, and the predictability is very less, because you are exposed to the 200 countries, those who are competing in that country, and even local companies in that country. So this is how is the domestic market and international marketing different. Now we'll go into these environments in little more details, so that you will try to understand and appreciate what are requirements for international marketing. So what is domestic environment? The factors of importance related to the domestic and economic and political conditions, including existing and the potential resources level, trend of economic growth, and the industrial base, and the structure and existing facilities of agencies of the foreign trade. Domestic import-export policies, the procedures, and the domestic demand and availability of surpluses. So what is the whole net environment in the domestic for our product, and how is the scope for our products to send it across? But before sending across, we have to appreciate, study the domestic environment, and see the policies, export, import, and procedures, and legal things we will see afterwards. And domestic demand supply, basically demand supply. If the demand is more in the outside world, and we have the surplus, and we have our company has that product, we can export. So domestic environment will have a development, expansion of the export potential accordingly. Then greater processing of raw material. So you have a raw material available, so better in-house process it in the domestic environment and try for export. Then the planned development for the exports and particular sector and import substitution. See, basically, straight away exporting is also possible, but if you do some import substitution product, make in India, and then or in your own country, and then accordingly you plan the you plan the exports accordingly. So first you replace the domestic requirement on the foreign product and then go for the export, because it is proving already that it is matching the requirement for that need. Then in domestic environment there will be export incentives, because you are exporting and you are getting some advance licenses, advance release orders, or export direct incentives in terms of the percentage or value, and supporting schemes are there, like supplementary, complementary licenses or special licenses as and when it will come in the different decades. Then in domestic, the quality control standards will have to have a reliable ISO standards, or different GMP standards for the pharma, and you will have to follow the world standard also in the domestic market if your product has to be exportable. Then institutional and the infrastructural support for the roads and ports and multimodal transport. So it's all domestically you need to study in depth and see that how you are able to go from a domestic to import substitution to exporter, right? So now foreign environment. Now foreign environment and an exporter has to overcome the various constraints and adopts its plans and the operations to suit foreign environmental conditions. So basically we have to be adaptable to those environment where you are going to export it, and try to see the first nuances or the problems areas, so that you don't get caught anywhere legally or otherwise. So these disadvantages to avoid and those constraints you will have to make over by studying the foreign environments. The main element of the foreign environments are the political dimensions and the different countries they have. And there is a drift, or there is a situation, or the political changes happening. So political environments are a major for foreign environment studies. Policies, regulations, and the control mechanism, the foreign trade, commercial relations, and the following four factors will be considered while doing the business with the particular country. So attitude towards the international buying, they are receptive, as they are ready to consume these products very easily, and they are looking forward and encouraging, like Singapore and UAE are the recent examples. Then the foreign environment, another factor is the political stability. The government change, or it is a stable government, or it is violently happening things in the domestic market, or domestic elections in the foreign country, direct investments allowed, not allowed, in between stopped, or it is political stable. Right. Then the monetary regulations in the foreign countries. So hard currencies, whether it is a hard world currencies or currency restriction or fluctuation or exchange rate. So if there is a lot of fluctuations, then it is really a trouble, and we'll have to watch and see, or have that product available over there and then hedge it, and you can proceed further in the foreign environment. Then the government bureaucracy, the efficient systems of the customs clearance and product handling distribution, if it is there, it is a very efficient system, then you can depend upon and you can take strategies in advance. But otherwise, you will have to go case to case basis and month to month and cargo to cargo. In the foreign environment, with the change of boss or this political party head, the foreign trade policy might change, and it will be in the whims and fancies of the particular party or the boss of the particular country. Regarding they may be supporting one kind of the segment provinces, or they will be affiliated towards the foreign companies, certain foreign companies or the certain countries. So these are the very important political situations also one has to study. Mainly the cultural environment, the manner in which the people, consumer, and the priority needs, wants, and which we normally study into the domestic market also, and the cultural dictates the style on living. So you will have to study the entire gamut of the culture, which is based on the knowledge, beliefs, and the art, and the moral, and the laws, and the customs, and the member of which society, the education, taste, and the style, consumption habits, attitude, and behavior in spite of the closer similarities in the geographical and economical and political conditions. These are the cultural things, how it really helpful to us. Like a French man uses twice many cosmetics and beauty aids than their spouses. Right? So if you try to market and target the female audience in those countries, then you will find that more it is towards the men. And one French man also out of 3 brushes his teeth. And you try to launch the toothpaste or the brush into France, then you will find that why things are not moving as per the country count, or so much big market and wealthy market available. So the Dutch never touches the vodka. Even I didn't know. So when I went over there, and then I find that hardly, or rather I have not seen they're touching any vodka anytime. So there is no point in marketing the vodkas. So better you go to the another country. But of course, you can be a trendsetter, you can modify the market, you can develop the market, so market development. But there may be we will have to study really why they are not touching. Maybe there are some sentiments attached, then we'll have to leave the market for vodka. Now, Germans eat more spaghetti and more often than Italians, because spaghetti is an Italian product, but you will find that German restaurants, they're serving all the spaghetti and even the pizza more. Even when I went to Germany, I was surprised to see all these Italian products, and it was tasting also awesome. So there is no problem, that you can eat in Germany or you eat in Italy, or even in India. Now we have a lot of preferences towards this fast food, or kind of spaghetti kind of a thing, and there are different kind of vermicellis and all this kind of stuff available. So this is what is again this cultural environments, and now in the futuristic in India, you may have to suppose market the fast food, then it is that age of now Maggi, but you will find that the spaghetti is coming more, or Mexican food might come, or the sizzlers might come, and so there is always changing, and we are adopting the good products which are liked by us. As it has been promoted and it has been hammered onto our things, and if we like it, it really catches up. And also the ease of preparation. Now, economic environment, the economic indicators like GNP and gross national product, and the distribution of the wealth, and the BOP, balance of payment, dependability on the imports, and the country's industrial structure shapes the products and the services, and income levels, and employee levels, and so on. The economic indicators are very major factors, and even by studying economical environments, you can decide which country you can approach for doing the business. In fact, I am contemplating one course on economic indicators and foreign trade. So only based on economic indicators, how you can go to those countries and you can trade it over there. Okay. Of course, if you are able to study the cultural and the foreign and other environment, but by studying economical indicators, whether that market is good enough and worthy enough to go and set up the office over, right? So far we have seen all these kind of the 4 environments, and now we'll see the the industrial structure of economies, basically how these are, how the world is classified as an industrial structure, and we'll take it up in the next section. Thank you so much. Till then.